The desert doesn't care about your mistakes. It doesn't forgive, doesn't forget. It just waits patient and cold under the stars for you to realize what you've lost. Jackson Mercer understood this. 44 years of living, 26 of them on two wheels, and he'd learned that some roads you can't outrun. The Harley beneath him rumbled through the Arizona night, a steady heartbeat in the silence, but it couldn't drown out the thoughts. It never could. Highway 19 stretched empty in both directions. No headlights, no taillights, just endless asphalt cutting through sage and rock. The kind of road where a man could disappear if he wanted to. Jackson had been disappearing for 8 years now. Every mile, every town, every sunrise that found him somewhere new. Running from a memory he couldn't bury. Sarah. Her name still hurt. 16 years old, bright smile, her whole life ahead of her. Until a deputy with 3 drinks too many ran a red light and turned Jackson's world into something he didn't recognize anymore. The crash report said, unavoidable accident. The investigation said, no fault determined. Sheriff Daniel Harrow himself had put a hand on Jackson's shoulder at the funeral and said, these things happen, son. Best to move on. Move on, as if a father could just move on from burying his daughter. Jackson throttled down, letting the bike coast. Something ahead caught his eye. Red and blue paint reflecting moonlight. A sheriff's cruiser sitting crooked on the shoulder driver's door, hanging open like a broken jaw. Every instinct screamed, keep riding. Nothing good came from involving yourself with cop problems. Not for a man with Jackson's history, with his patch, with his name in a dozen law enforcement databases as a known associate of the Red Ridge Motorcycle Club. But something was wrong. No skid marks on the asphalt, no debris pattern. Just a vehicle positioned too carefully, too deliberately, like someone had arranged it for a photograph. Jackson slowed to a stop 50 feet back. Killed the engine. The sudden silence hit like a physical thing. He could smell it even from here. Blood and gasoline, that particular mixture that meant violence and chaos. The desert wind carried it to him cold and metallic. Walk away. The smart move. The survival move. The move that kept you breathing and free. Jackson swung off the bike anyway. His boots crunched on gravel as he approached. The cruiser's interior light was off, but the moon gave him enough to see. A figure slumped against the steering wheel. Female, young, dark hair matted with blood. Her uniform torn, star badge catching silver light. Deputy, his mind registered. Shot. Multiple wounds, execution grouping. He was already turning to leave when her hand shot out and grabbed his vest. Fast. Desperate. Her eyes open, locked on his, brown and fierce despite the blood loss. Help! The word came out wet, bubbling. Jackson froze. Up close, he could see the damage. 3 entry wounds, he could count maybe more. Professional work. Someone had stood over this woman and methodically tried to end her life. Can't help you, deputy. His voice came out rougher than he intended. You need an ambulance. No. Her grip tightened on his leather, surprising strength for someone losing this much blood. Don't call it in. You're shot 3 times. You need a hospital. They'll kill me. Her breathing was shallow, wet sounding. Each word cost her. Harrow staged it, please. The name hit Jackson like a fist. Sheriff Daniel Harrow, the man who'd spent 5 years systematically destroying every motorcycle club in 3 counties. The man who'd personally overseen the raid that killed Jackson's club president 2 years back. The man who'd covered up Sarah's death and called it justice. What are you talking about? Found proof, and the deputy's eyes were starting to lose focus. He's dirty, runs the distribution, staged the crash, execution. She coughed, blood on her lips. Jackson studied the bullet wounds again. Tight grouping center mass. This wasn't road rage or a random shooting. This was professional murder dressed up as something else. Who shot you? His deputies, Lewis and Garrett. Her hand was slipping from his vest, strength fading. Flash drive. Bus depot locker, 247. Jackson grabbed her shoulders, keeping her upright. Listen to me. You're a cop. I'm a one percenter. You understand what you're asking? You're all I got. Her eyes closed. He pressed fingers to her neck. Pulse there, but weak. Fading fast, dying. Jackson surveyed the empty highway. At his bike 20 feet away. At freedom. At the easy choice. Then he examined the badge on her chest. At the execution wounds. At the setup. She's still breathing, he said to no one. The deputy's eyes flickered open one more time. I have a daughter, she whispered. Rebecca, she's 7. Please. Something broke in Jackson's chest. 7 years old, the same age Sarah had been, when he'd first held her still small enough to fit in the crook of his arm, looking up at him like he could protect her from anything. He'd failed Sarah, let the system fail her, trusted a badge to do the right thing, and they'd buried the truth along with his daughter. But this woman's daughter was still alive, still waiting for her mother to come home. What's your name? Jackson asked. Elena Reeves. I'm Jackson. I'm going to get you out of here, but you need to hold on. You understand, whatever it takes, you hold on. He lifted Elena out of the cruiser. She was small, maybe 120, soaking wet, but dead weight is heavy, and she was mostly gone already. He carried her to his Harley, trying to figure out impossible geometry. Where? She mumbled, consciousness slipping. Shut up and stay awake. You're riding with me. Can't. You don't have a choice. He got her positioned on the bike behind him, her arms barely able to wrap around his waist. She was fading again, head lolling. Hey. Jackson grabbed her wrist, squeezed hard enough to hurt. You let go, you die. You understand. You hold on no matter what. Think about Rebecca. Think about your daughter. A weak nod against his back. Jackson fired up the engine and pulled onto the highway. Behind him, he felt Elena's weight shift, felt her grip weaken. He reached back, held her arm in place. Still here, she breathed. Keep talking. Tell me about Rebecca. 7 years old, loves horses, wants to be a veterinarian. Each word separated by labored breaths. Lives with my sister, Jennifer. Safer that way. Safer from what? From Harrow, from what I found, from... She coughed and Jackson felt warmth soak through his vest. Fresh bleeding. Save it. Just stay conscious. The ride to Doc Rowan Hale's place took 23 minutes that felt like hours. Elena's grip weakened twice more, and both times Jackson had to hold her arm, keep her from sliding off. She was mumbling, half delirious. Harrow controls everything. Task force, evidence, all dirty. Webb knows. Detective Webb. Only one I trust. Nobody in a uniform is trustworthy right now. Webb's different. Lost his wife, cancer, insurance denied treatment. He investigated, found Harrow's connections. He's been helping me. 6 months building the case. Jackson filed that away. A detective investigating his own sheriff, both of them casualties of Harrow's system in different ways. Doc Rowan's practice sat at the end of a dirt road outside Redridge proper. Technically an auto repair shop. Everyone knew what really went on in the back rooms. Jackson laid on the horn, 3 short blasts. The code. The bay door rolled up. Rowan stood there, 63 years old, gray ponytail, wearing surgical scrubs stained with old blood and newer regrets. He took one look at Elena and his expression went flat. No. She's dying. She's a cop, Jackson. You bring her here, you bring the entire sheriff's department down on my operation. She's shot by the sheriff's department. 3 rounds execution pattern. Look at the grouping. Rowan stepped closer, examined the wounds without touching. His eyes sharpened with old professional instinct. His jaw tightened. This is bad grave. Real bad. I know. You know what you're asking. She's still breathing, Doc. That's all I know. Rowan studied Jackson for a long moment. Two men who'd lost everything to Harrow's corruption. Two men who had been labeled and dismissed and destroyed by a system that protected its own. Finally, Rowan stepped aside. Get her in, fast. They carried Elena to the back room, the one with the good lights and the makeshift surgical setup that had saved more lives than any hospital would admit. Rowan was already scrubbing moving with the efficiency of someone who'd done this 1,000 times in worse conditions. Talk to me, Rowan said, prepping instruments. Found her on Highway 19. Cruiser staged to look like an accident. 3 GSWs tight grouping. She claims Sheriff Harrow set her up, that he's running something and... Running what? Didn't get that far before she passed out. Rowan cut away Elena's uniform, revealing the full extent of the damage. 2 entry wounds in the chest, 1 in the abdomen. No exit wounds. Hollow point still inside. This is going to be messy. Can you save her? I can try, but Grave, listen. The second she's stable, she's gone. I can't have a cop recovering here. You understand? Understood. Rowan gloved up, reached for the first instrument. You might want to step out. I've seen worse. Not on someone you're trying to save, you haven't. Jackson stayed anyway. Watched as Doc Rowan went to work. The surgery was brutal, efficient, loud. Alarms beeping, Rowan cursing under his breath. The wet sounds of trauma repair that Jackson would hear in his nightmares for years. Elena flatlined twice. Both times, Rowan brought her back with hands that moved like they were conducting an orchestra of life and death. A buzz came from Jackson's pocket. He stepped into the front room, answered. Where the hell are you, Grave? Hammer's voice, the club president, tense and angry. Doc's place. You hurt? No. Then why? Hammer paused. I'm looking at the scanner right now. Countywide alert. Deputy down. Suspect is a male on a motorcycle, armed and dangerous. That's you, isn't it? Jackson closed his eyes. It's not what it sounds like. Then what is it? I found her shot on Highway 19. Execution style. She says Harrow staged it. Silence on the other end. Then you brought a cop to Doc Hale's. She's dying, Hammer. So let her die. You just painted a target on your back. On the club. On everyone. What the hell were you thinking? I was thinking those bullet wounds didn't match the story. I was thinking someone in a badge tried to execute her and make it look like an accident. That's not our problem. It is if Harrow's dirty. You know how many brothers he's put away on bullshit charges. How many raids he's personally led. Another pause. Jackson could hear Hammer breathing hard, thinking. What did she say exactly? That Harrow runs the distribution. That he has deputies on payroll. That she found proof. Where's the proof? Bus depot locker 247. Flash drive. Jesus Christ, Grave. Hammer's voice dropped. You know what this means if she's telling the truth? Yeah, it means Harrow's been using us as cover for his own operation. Busting us to protect his market share. And if she's lying, if this is a setup, then I'm already dead, but those wounds don't lie. Someone tried to make sure she didn't talk. Hammer was quiet for a long time. Finally, I'll send Dutch and Snake to watch the perimeter. You stay with her until we figure this out. But Grave, if this goes sideways, you're on your own. I can't protect you from a cop-killing charge. I didn't kill her. I'm trying to save her. Tell that to the jury. The line went dead. Jackson stood there, reality settling in. By now, the entire sheriff's department was mobilizing. Roadblocks, tactical units, shoot-on-sight orders, all looking for him, and he walked back into the surgery room. Doc Rowan was closing the last wound hand steady despite the situation. She's stable, for now. Lost a lot of blood, but none of the bullets hit anything immediately fatal. She got lucky. She got executed and survived. That's not luck. That's a miracle. Call it what you want. Rowan stripped off his gloves. She's going to need real medical care. Hospital blood transfusions, the works. I can keep her alive for maybe 12 hours. After that, you're looking at infection, organ failure, all the things I can't treat here. 12 hours, got it. Elena stirred on the table, eyes opening slightly. Where you're safe, Jackson said, moving closer. Doc patched you up. You're alive. Her hand reached out, found his. Surprisingly strong grip. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Every cop in the county is looking for me right now. They think I took you. Did you get the drive? Not yet. You need to tell me what's on it. She attempted to sit up, winced hard. Financial records, payoffs, seized assets that never made it to evidence, cartel connections. Harrow's been running protection for the Sinaloa pipeline through Red Ridge for 3 years. Sinaloa, Rowan's voice went cold. Those aren't people you mess with. He's not messing with them. He's partnered with them. Takes a cut of every shipment that it comes through. Uses the department to eliminate competition. Makes it look like law enforcement victories. Jackson felt the pieces clicking together. All the raids, all the seizures. The way Harrow always seemed to know exactly where to hit exactly when. How'd you find out? State was investigating budget discrepancies. I was assigned to review asset forfeitures for the last 3 years. Numbers didn't match. Followed the money trail. She coughed, pain flashing across her face. Found accounts, offshore holdings, Harrow's name on documents with cartel shell companies. Who else knows? Detective Webb. My partner, he's been helping me build the case. We were going to take it federal. Past tense. Harrow found out. I don't know how. Maybe someone in Webb's chain. Maybe my phone was tapped. 2 nights ago, I got a text from Harrow saying I was scheduled for highway patrol shift. Solo. Remote area. Her voice cracked. I knew it was a setup, but I went anyway. Hid the drive first. Then Lewis and Garrett pulled up behind me, lights flashing. Said there was a suspicious vehicle reported. Next thing I knew, Garrett had his gun out. They say anything, well, Garrett said sheriff sends his regards. Then they shot me 3 times, left me in the cruiser, staged it to look like I'd crashed. Probably figured I'd bleed out before anyone found me. They figured wrong. Elena regarded him carefully, really studied him. Why did you stop? Don't know, shouldn't have. But you did. Yeah, I did. She squeezed his hand. I'm Elena, Elena Catherine Reeves. Jackson, grave to the club. Grave. She almost smiled. Fitting name for someone who saves people from them. Before Jackson could respond, another buzz from his pocket. Dutch this time. We got movement. 2 sheriff's vehicles just rolled past on the main road. Slow. Searching. How close? Quarter mile. They're working a grid pattern. They'll hit Doc's place in maybe 20 minutes. Copy that. Jackson turned to Rowan. We need to move her. She can't be moved. Not yet. She needs at least 4 more hours. We don't have 4 hours. We have 20 minutes. Elena made another attempt to rise. Failed. Leave me. Take the drive. Give it to Webb. Get the hell out. Not happening. I'm dead weight. Literally. You take me, they catch us both. I didn't pull you out of that cruiser to leave you now. This is insane. You're an outlaw. I'm a cop. We're natural enemies. Right now, we're both targets of the same man. That makes us allies. Rowan moved on to a cabinet, pulled out supplies. If you're moving her, she needs fluids, antibiotics, pain management. I'll pack what I can. Where can we go? Elena asked. Harrow controls the whole county. He's got deputies, state police connections, probably highway patrol. Jackson thought fast. I know a place. Old mining cabin up in the Mesquite Range. Abandoned. Off-grid. Club used to use it for storage. How far? 40 minutes on the bike. Hour if I have to avoid checkpoints. I can't ride 40 minutes. You're going to have to. Elena met his eyes, fear and determination mixing. If I pass out, you won't. I'll make sure of it. Rowan finished packing a medical kit, handed it to Jackson. This is everything I can spare. Antibiotics, morphine bandages, IIV fluids. You know how to work an IV. I've seen it done. That's not the same as doing it. Rowan grabbed Jackson's arm, demonstrated the insertion technique on himself. Find the vein, insert at 45 degrees, thread the catheter. Don't go too deep or you'll blow the vein. Tape it secure. Gravity feed. Don't force it. Got it? In grave she crashes, you're not bringing her back, not without equipment. Understood. Dutch called again. Vehicles turned onto Docks Road. ETA 5 minutes. You need to move now. They got Elena on her feet, Rowan supporting one side, Jackson the other. She was shaking, barely able to stand, but she stood. Where's the exit? Elena asked. Back door leads to a ravine. Bike's already positioned there. Dutch will run interference up front. They moved through the shop, Elena's breathing getting worse with each step. By the time they reached the back door, she was gasping, sweat pouring down her face. Can't breathe. Punctured lung reinflating. It's going to hurt like hell, but it means you're healing. Feels like dying. Dying feels different. Trust me. They got her to the bike. Jackson could hear vehicles pulling up to the front of the shop. Doors slamming. Voices shouting. Rowan Hale Sheriff's Department. Open up. Rowan glanced at Jackson. Go, I'll buy you time. They're going to search the place. Let them. I clean up good. Rowan headed back inside. Besides, I've been raided before. I know the dance. Jackson got Elena on the bike, positioned her arms around his waist. She was fading, head lolling against his back. Elena, stay with me. Trying. Try harder. You let go, you die. I told you that once already. Her grip tightened slightly. The engine fired up loud in the quiet night. Jackson pulled out slow headlight off, navigating by moonlight down the ravine trail. Behind them, he could hear shouting, the sound of the shop being breached. They hit the main trail and Jackson opened it up, the Harley roaring through the darkness. Elena's weight shifted, and for a horrible moment, he thought she'd passed out. But then her arms tightened again. Still here, she whispered. Good. Keep talking. Stay conscious. About what? Anything. Tell me about Rebecca. She's 7, second grade, loves horses more than anything, draws pictures of them constantly. Elena's voice was weak but steady. Wants to be a veterinarian. Says she's going to have a ranch someday. Save all the horses nobody wants. Smart kid. She is, too smart sometimes. Asks questions I don't know how to answer, like why I became a cop, why I'm gone so much, why she can't live with me. Why can't she? Because 6 months ago I started investigating Harrow. Because men started following me. Because my tires got slashed twice in 1 week. Because I came home one night and found my apartment ransacked. Elena coughed. I sent her to live with my sister in Phoenix, told her it was temporary, just until Mommy's job got less dangerous. You were protecting her. I was lying under her. She cried for 3 days, begged me not to send her away, thought she'd done something wrong. Jackson felt the weight of that, understood it completely. You did what you had to do. Did I? Or did I choose the job over my daughter? You chose to fight corruption so your daughter could grow up in a world that's a little less broken. That's not selfish. That's love. Elena was quiet for a moment. You have kids? The question hit like a physical blow. Jackson almost didn't answer, but something about the desert night, about this dying woman holding on to him, about the truth of their situation, made him speak. Had a daughter, Sarah. She died 8 years ago. I'm sorry. She was 16, car accident, except it wasn't an accident. Deputy was drunk, Ran a red light doing 60. Sarah never had a chance. Jesus. The deputy's name was Miller. Good man, according to Sheriff Barrow, made a mistake, had PTSD, drinking problem from the how. Harrow said charging him would destroy a good officer's career, so they buried it, called it an unavoidable accident. No charges filed. Harrow covered it up, and I let him. I trusted the system, trusted that badge to do the right thing. That trust killed my daughter. Elena's grip tightened on his waist. That's why you stopped for me. Why you're risking everything. I couldn't save Sarah, but I can save you. I can save Rebecca from losing her mother. They rode in silence for a while. A helicopter passed overhead, searchlights sweeping the desert. Jackson killed the engine, coasted the bike into a wash pulled under an overhang. They sat there, Elena barely breathing against his back while the helicopter circled. The searchlight passed within 20 feet, held for a moment, then moved on. Jackson waited 5 full minutes before starting the engine again. That was close, Elena whispered. It's going to get closer. They rode for another 30 minutes, taking old mining roads and game trails, avoiding anything that looked like civilization. Elena's grip weakened once more, and Jackson had to reach back and hold her in place. Finally, the cabin came into view. It wasn't much. Single room, tin roof, half the windows boarded up. But it was hidden in a canyon, surrounded by scrub pine, invisible from the air, and hard to reach by vehicle. Jackson killed the engine, helped Elena off the bike. She collapsed the moment her feet hit the ground. Sorry, Kent. Don't apologize. You've been shot 3 times and rode a motorcycle for 40 minutes. You're doing better than most. He carried her inside, later on an old cot that had seen better days. The cabin was freezing. No heat, no power. Jackson found an old propane lantern, got it lit. The warm glow filled the space. Elena was shaking, going into shock. Jackson pulled out the medical kit, found the IV supplies. His hands were steadier than he expected as he found her vein, inserted the catheter, taped it secure. The IV drip started clear fluid running into her system. Cold, she whispered. Jackson pulled off his leather vest, covered her with it, found an old wool blanket in a trunk, added that too. Better, little. He checked her wounds, made sure nothing had opened up during the ride. The bandages were holding, but she was bleeding through in spots. He added fresh gauze, secured it tight. You've done this before, Elena said. Patched up brothers after fights, accidents. Never bullet wounds, but close enough. Where'd you learn Doc Hale? Spent a few months helping him out after a bad crash. Picked up things. She observed him, studying his face in the lamplight. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Monster, criminal. The way Harrow talks about bikers, you'd think you were animals. Some of us are. Most of us just want to ride and be left alone. And you, oh, I'm somewhere in between. Her eyes were closing. Don't let me sleep. Concussion could be bad. You don't have a concussion. You have 3 bullet wounds. Sleep is good. I'll keep watch. You rest. She fought it for a few more minutes, then exhaustion took her under. Jackson sat by the window watching the horizon for lights, helicopters, anything. His cell showed 3 bars. Barely. He pulled up the news. Deputy abducted by armed biker. Manhunt underway. The headline hit like a punch. Below it, a photo of Elena in uniform, smiling professional. Next to it, a grainy photo of Jackson from an old arrest. The article claimed he was armed and extremely dangerous, that he'd ambushed Deputy Reeves on a routine traffic stop, that he was a known enforcer for a violent motorcycle gang. All lies. But the lies were already spreading. The screen lit up again. Hammer. You see the news? Yeah. They're painting you as a cop killer, even though she's not dead. They're saying you abducted her, that she's being held hostage. She's not a hostage. She's a witness. Try telling that to the tactical units rolling out. Every cop in 3 states is looking for you. They find you, they're not asking questions. I need to get that flash drive. Are you insane? The bus depot is going to be crawling with law enforcement. It's a trap. It's evidence. It's the only thing that proves what Harrow's doing. It's not worth your life. It's worth hers. Hammer sighed heavy and tired. You're really doing this, throwing everything away for a cop. I'm doing it because it's right. Right doesn't keep you alive, Grave. Neither does wrong. Another pause. Then Hammer's voice changed, got serious. I talked to the club, told them everything. Half think you're a hero, half think you're a traitor. We're splitting Grave, right down the middle. Jackson's chest tightened. Who's where? Dutch Snake Reaper, Tiny, they're with you. Believe the corruption angle. The rest want you cut loose. Say you're bringing heat we can't handle. Hammer paused. I'm trying to hold this together, but Grave, I can't protect you. Not from this. You're on your own. The line went dead. Jackson stared at Elena sleeping fitfully under his vest in the blanket. He'd made his choice back on Highway 19. There was no going back now. A text came through. Unknown number. I know what you're doing. I can help. Bus Depot Locker 247. I'll be there at 0600. Come alone. Webb. Jackson stared at the message until the screen went dark. Detective Marcus Webb. Elena's partner. Either an ally or the perfect trap. Only one way to find out. Jackson watched the text message until his eyes burned. Detective Marcus Webb. The only cop Elena trusted. But trust was a luxury Jackson had lost the day they buried Sarah. He glanced at Elena, her chest rising and falling in shallow breaths, the IV drip counting down the hours they had left. The morphine had taken her under deep, but her face was still tight with pain even in sleep. Her hand rested on her stomach, fingers curled like she was protecting something precious. Rebecca, 7 years old, waiting for a mother who might never come home. The screen lit up, a response to the text he hadn't sent. I know you're weighing options. Don't. Elena told you about Tucson. That's your proof I'm clean. Be at the depot. We end this today or we all die tomorrow. Webb. Tucson. Elena had mentioned it during the ride. Something about Webb saving her life using illegal surveillance to track her location. Only 3 people knew the story. Jackson typed back, how do I know Harrow didn't torture it out of you? The response came immediately. You don't. But Elena does. Wake her up. Ask her if I'd ever give up that story, even under torture, even for my life. Jackson moved to the cot, touched Elena's shoulder gently. Elena, need you to wake up. Her eyes opened unfocused at first, then sharpening with pain and awareness. What's wrong? Got a text from Webb. Says he can help. Wants to meet at the bus depot at 6. She pushed herself up, slightly gasped. Marcus texted you. How does he have your number? Don't know. He said to ask you about Tucson. Something shifted in Elena's expression. Relief mixed with fear. It's him. It's really him. What happened in Tucson? Last year I was working undercover on a trafficking case. Cover got blown. 3 men showed up at my hotel with guns. Marcus wasn't even assigned to the case, but he'd been tracking my location through unauthorized channels. Worried about me. Her voice cracked. He kicked in the door with hotel security and pulled me out 30 seconds before they would have killed me. Never reported it officially because the surveillance he used was technically illegal. Only 3 people know, me, him, and the hotel manager who helped. And you never told anyone. Couldn't. It would have ended his career. Marcus bent the rules because he knew something was wrong, just like now. Jackson processed that, a cop who broke protocol to save his partner. It matched what Elena had said about Webb investigating Harrow independently. You trust him completely. With my life, more than that, with the truth. That was good enough. Jackson pulled out his cell, texted Webb. I'll be there, but if this is a setup, I'm taking people with me. Understood. Come armed if it makes you feel safer, but come alone. Too many variables otherwise. Jackson checked the time. 4:45. He had to move. I need to go, he said to Elena. Get the drive before Harrow figures out where it is. I'm coming with you. You can't even stand. I can stand. She tried to prove it, got halfway up before her legs gave out. Jackson caught her before she hit the floor. You're staying here. If Harrow's men find this place, they won't. It's off every map. Even the club barely remembers it exists. Jackson. She grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong. If something happens to you, I need to know how to defend myself. He scanned the cabin, found an old .38 revolver in a lockbox under the floorboards. 6 rounds loaded. He checked it, made sure it functioned, and handed it to her. Safety's here. Point and shoot. Don't hesitate. I'm a cop. I know how to shoot. I'm sure you do, but you've never shot someone while bleeding out with a punctured lung. It's different. She took the gun, checked it herself with practiced efficiency. Cop instincts never died even wounded. How long will you be gone? 2 hours, maybe 3 if I have to dodge checkpoints. And if you don't come back, then you wait until dawn. Take the bike, ride to the federal building in Phoenix. Ask for Special Agent Victoria Hayes. Tell her everything. She's clean. How do you know about her? Because she investigated Harrow 2 years ago before the case got buried. She also investigated us. Straight shooter, didn't plant evidence, didn't lie on reports. We respect that. Elena's hand found his again. Thank you for all of this. Thank me when we're both alive and Harrow's in handcuffs. He grabbed his vest, shrugged it on. The leather was still damp with her blood. He checked his own gun. Sig Sauer .45 full magazine, one in the chamber. Outside the desert was still dark stars sharp overhead. The cold bit through his vest. A call came through as he reached the bike. Dutch's voice came through tense. Where are you headed? Meeting Elena's partner. Bus depot. That's suicide. Harrow's got units stationed at every public location in the county. I don't have a choice. The evidence is there. Then let me come with you. Snake, too. We'll run cover. Webb said come alone. Webb's a cop. Since when do you trust cops? Since one of them took 3 bullets trying to expose Harrow. Dutch went quiet. Then you're changing, brother. This isn't how we do things. Maybe it's time we changed how we do things. You sound like a Boy Scout. I sound like someone who's tired of being used as a scapegoat for dirty cops. Fair enough. But Grave, if this goes wrong, the club can't help you. Hammer made that clear. You're out there alone. I've been alone before. Not like this. The line cut. Jackson fired up the Harley, the engine way too loud in the pre-dawn quiet. He took the long route toward town, staying off main roads, using arroyos and ranch access roads that barely qualified as paths. 20 minutes out, he spotted headlights in his mirrors. Sheriff's cruiser running dark except for parking lights. Following him. Jackson's pulse kicked up. He throttled down, turned onto a side trail that led through heavy brush. The cruiser followed. Closer now. Not good. Jackson killed his headlight, navigating by moonlight, pushing the bike faster than was safe on uncertain terrain. Behind him, the cruiser's engine growled, gaining ground. Then the light bar lit up, brilliant red and blue cutting through the darkness. Jackson gunned it. The chase was on. He flew through the desert, the bike airborne, over dips, tires barely touching dirt. The cruiser was faster on flat ground but couldn't handle the rough terrain. Jackson used that cutting through washes and between boulders the car couldn't follow. A call came in. He ignored it. Again. He risked a glance. Unknown number. He answered on speaker engine, screaming. Yeah, you're running from Deputy Lewis. The voice was male, calm, authoritative. Stop running. He's not trying to arrest you. Who is this Marcus Webb? Lewis is with me. He's one of the few clean deputies left. I sent him to escort you safely to the depot. Then why is he chasing me? Because you ran. Stop the bike, Grave. Let him catch up. Every instinct said this was a trap, but Jackson had already committed. He slowed the bike, let the cruiser close the distance. The vehicle pulled alongside. Jackson could see the driver now. Young guy, maybe late 20s, looking nervous as hell. The deputy rolled down his window, shouted over the engines, "You Grave?" "Yeah, I'm Deputy Jason Lewis. I'm supposed to escort you to the depot without anyone else seeing." "You're one of the deputies who shot Elena." Lewis's face went white. "What? No, that was Deputy Brad Lewis, my cousin. I've been trying to stop him and Harrow for months." "Convenient story. Detective Webb told me to tell you Tucson Hotel unauthorized surveillance, 3 shooters. Does that mean anything?" "It did. Only way this deputy knew that was if Webb had briefed him." Jackson took a calculated risk. "Lead the way." Lewis pulled ahead and Jackson followed. The cruiser running interference through checkpoints, waving off other units, creating a corridor of safety Jackson couldn't have managed alone. They reached the bus depot at 5:45. The place was empty except for a few early commuters and one man standing by the lockers. Mid-40s gray at the temples, wearing plain clothes but carrying himself like a cop. Detective Marcus Webb. Jackson parked approached with his hand near his gun. Webb held up both hands showing empty palms. "I'm unarmed. Well, mostly unarmed. Service weapon on my ankle, but I'm not reaching for it." "Smart. Where's Elena?" "Safe, hidden. You'll see her when I'm sure you're not setting me up." "Fair enough." Webb pulled a folder from his jacket, slow and deliberate. "I've been building a case against Harrow for 8 months. Elena was helping. This is what we have so far." Jackson took the folder, flipped through. Bank records, surveillance photos, wire transfers. Harrow meeting with known cartel members. Deputies depositing unusual amounts of cash. "This is federal territory," Jackson said. "I know. That's why we need the flash drive." Everything in that folder is circumstantial. Good enough for suspicion, not enough for conviction. But the drive Elena hid, that's got the hard evidence. Account numbers, transaction, records, recorded conversations. She wore a wire for 3 weeks. She wore a wire around Harrow and survived. Until 2 nights ago when someone tipped him off. "Who sent it?" Webb's expression darkened. "That's the question I've been asking. Someone in my chain of command is feeding Harrow information. Could be my captain. Could be internal affairs. Could be someone at the state level. I don't know who to trust except Elena. And now apparently me." Deputy Lewis called out from the cruiser. "Detective, we got movement. 3 sheriff units incoming. 2 minutes out." Webb cursed. "They're running a patrol pattern. We have to move fast." They headed to the lockers. Jackson found 247 checked for tampering. Clean. He pulled out a small tool, worked the lock. Inside was a waterproof case. He opened it. Flash drive. Exactly as Elena said. But there was something else. A note handwritten, "Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm probably dead." Evidence on the drive is enough to bury Harrow and 12 other conspirators, including someone in your department. Don't trust Captain Morrison. He's been on Harrow's payroll for 6 years. Take this straight to the FBI. Agent Victoria Hayes in Phoenix. She's the only one I trust outside Red Ridge. Elena. Webb read over Jackson's shoulder, his face going hard. Morrison, Jesus Christ. He's been running the investigation into Elena's disappearance. Which means he's been feeding Harrow our every move, Jackson said. Which means Harrow knows we're here right now. As if on cue, Deputy Lewis shouted, "They're early, multiple units converging." 30 seconds. Webb grabbed the flash drive, shoved it in his pocket. "We split up. I'll take the drive to Phoenix. You get back to Elena. Keep her safe until this breaks." "How do I know you'll actually take it to the FBI? You don't. But Elena trusted me and you trusted her. That's going to have to be enough." Headlights appeared at the depot entrance. 3 cruisers moving fast. "Go." Webb pushed Jackson toward the bike. "Lewis, you're with me." Jackson ran, fired up the Harley, punched it hard. Behind him, he could hear shouting engines revving, someone calling for backup. He shot out the back entrance of the depot, cut through a residential neighborhood, took alleys and side streets he'd memorized years ago during club runs. The pursuit fell behind, confused, disorganized. But Jackson knew it was temporary. He was 15 minutes from the cabin when the call came. Elena. Jackson. Her voice was tight with pain and fear. His blood went cold. What? Someone's here. What? I heard engines, multiple bikes. They're circling the area. Can you see them through the window? 3 bikes, maybe 4. I can't tell if they're yours or... Gunfire cracked through the line. 3 shots, then silence. Elena, Jackson screamed into the cell. Elena! Nothing. He opened the throttle completely. The bike hitting 90 on dirt roads meant for 40. Trees blurred past, rocks kicked up. The engine screaming. He reached the cabin in 4 minutes. The bikes were there, 4 of them. He recognized the first 3, Reaper, Tiny Snake, brothers from his own club. The 4th bike he didn't recognize. The cabin door was open. Jackson pulled his gun, approached low and fast. Inside, Elena was on her feet, barely the .38 pointed at 3 club members who had their hands up. The 4th person was on the floor, bleeding from a shoulder wound. Deputy Brad Lewis, the one who'd shot Elena. Jackson, Elena's voice shook. They brought me a present. Reaper stepped forward, hands still raised. Easy, brother. We're on your side. Then why the hell are you here? Because Hammer sent us. Not to hurt you, to help you. We found Deputy Lewis sniffing around Doc's place, asking about where you might hide. Figured he was hunting you, so we grabbed him. Brought him here to find out what he knows. Elena moved the gun to Lewis, who was clutching his bleeding shoulder. He knows everything, because he's the one who tried to kill me. Lewis peered up, fear and pain mixing on his face. I didn't have a choice. Harrow said if I didn't do it, he'd kill my family. Bullshit, Elena snapped. You had every choice. You could have come to internal affairs. You could have reached. Instead, you shot me 3 times and left me to die. I aimed for non-lethal areas. You aimed for nothing. I survived because someone stopped who shouldn't have stopped. You tried to murder a fellow officer. Jackson holstered his gun, turned to his brothers. How'd you find this place? Tiny remembered using it 5 years back, Reaper said. Took a guess you'd go somewhere old, somewhere forgotten. Who else knows? Just us. Hammer doesn't even know we're here. We went rogue when we heard the news about the depot. Figured you were making the right call. Snake spoke up, his voice gravelly. Hammer's wrong grave. This isn't about club politics. This is about doing what is right. We're with you. Tiny nodded, all the way. Jackson felt something shift in his chest. These men outlaws all standing with him against their own president's orders. Elena needs a hospital, Jackson said. Real medical care, not field dressing. We can't take her to County General, Reaper said. Harrow's got people there. Phoenix, Elena said. FBI field office has medical on site. If Webb gets the drive to Hayes, she can authorize protective custody. A text came through. Webb. Drive delivered. FBI mobilizing. Harrow's being arrested within the hour. Get Elena to federal custody ASAP. They're coming for everyone involved. Relief hit like a wave. It was over, or starting to be over, but Elena was observing Deputy Brad Lewis with something dark in her eyes. What do we do with him? Lewis started crying. Please, I have kids, a wife. Harrow threatened them. You should have thought about them before you pulled the trigger, Elena said. Elena. Jackson moved beside her, gentle. You're not a killer. Neither am I. He tried to kill me. I know, and he'll answer for it, but not like this. She held the gun steady for another long moment, then lowered it. You're right. He gets a trial. He gets justice. Damn straight he does, a new voice said from the doorway. Everyone spun. Sheriff Daniel Harrow stood there, flanked by 4 tactical deputies in full gear, guns up. Nobody moved. The cabin went silent, except for Elena's ragged breathing and the sound of safeties clicking off. Harrow stepped inside his tactical deputies, fanning out with military precision, laser sights painting red dots across everyone's chests. Jackson didn't move. Neither did his brothers. Elena kept the .38 pointed at Brad Lewis, though her hands shook from exhaustion and blood loss. Harrow examined each of them, his expression calm, almost amused. He was mid-50s, fit with the kind of face that belonged on campaign posters. Trustworthy, authoritative, everything a sheriff should be. Deputy Reeves, Harrow's voice was smooth practiced. I'm relieved to see you alive. We've been searching everywhere for you. Drop the act, Elena said. I know what you are. A sheriff concerned about his missing officer. A criminal who tried to have me executed. Harrow smiled, cold and empty. That's a serious accusation. Do you have any proof? Yes. Really, where? Elena hesitated just a fraction of a second and Harrow's smile widened. You hid something. A flash drive, perhaps. Documentation of your wild theories about corruption in my department. He pulled out his cell, showed them a photo. It was the bus depot locker. Empty, already recovered. Jackson's stomach dropped. Detective Webb was very cooperative once we explained the situation to his daughter. Harrow said, You're lying, Elena said, her voice sharp. Marcus doesn't have a daughter. His wife died before they could have kids. It's one of the first things he told me when we partnered up. Harrow's expression flickered. Just for a moment. Annoyance. Fine, but I do have the drive. Webb handed it over 20 minutes ago at a checkpoint. Chose his career over his conscience. Can't say I blame him. You're still lying, Jackson said. Webb sent me a text 15 minutes ago confirming delivery to the FBI. Did he? Harrow pulled out another device. Elena's cell. Cracked screen and all. Or did I send that text after we recovered it from the bus depot? Amazing what you can do with someone's unlocked device. The cold settled deeper into Jackson's gut. If Harrow had Elena's device, he could have sent anything. Impersonated anyone. Reaper shifted his weight hand, drifting toward his waistband. One of the tactical deputies tracked him immediately. Don't, the deputy said. Harrow gestured for calm. Everyone relax. We're all on the same side here. Well, mostly. He regarded Brad Lewis bleeding on the floor. Except you, Brad. You've been a disappointment. Tried to make the hit look clean and you botched it. Couldn't even finish one wounded deputy. I did what you said, Brad whimpered. I followed orders. Poorly, and now you're a liability. Harrow pulled his sidearm and shot Brad Lewis twice in the chest. The sound was deafening in the small cabin. Brad's body jerked, then went still. Elena screamed. Tiny lunged forward and immediately had 3 laser sights on his head. Everyone stay calm, Harrow said, holstering his weapon like he'd just swatted a fly. That was necessary. Brad was going to talk, and we couldn't have that. Now where were we? You just executed your own deputy. Elena said, her voice shaking with rage. I eliminated a loose end. There's a difference. Harrow walked closer, examining her wounds. You look terrible, Deputy Reeves. Those field dressings won't hold much longer. You need a hospital. I'll die before I go anywhere with you. That can be arranged, or you can be smart. Come with me, get proper medical care, and we'll write this whole thing off as a misunderstanding. You were ambushed by bikers rescued by law enforcement. You're a hero. Everyone wins. Except the truth. The truth is whatever the official report says it is. Harrow turned to Jackson. As for you, Mr. Mercer, you've been a problem for a long time. But I'm prepared to be generous. You walk away right now, take your friends, forget everything you saw, and I won't hunt you down. I'll even clear your name from the abduction charges. In exchange for what? Your silence and your cooperation moving forward. I could use a reliable motorcycle club, someone to handle the distribution side without asking questions. Jackson felt sick. You want us to work for you? Oh, I prefer with meat, but yes, it's a profitable arrangement. Your predecessors made good money before they got greedy, before you had them killed in a raid, before they became liabilities. Like I said, I clean up loose ends. Harrow checked his watch. You have 30 seconds to decide. Leave now and live or stay, and join Brad on the floor. Snake spoke up, his voice hard. We don't work for cops, especially dirty ones. That's admirable. Stupid, but admirable. Harrow nodded to his tactical team. Gentlemen, if you would. Federal agent. Drop your weapons! The shout came from outside, amplified by a bullhorn. Everyone froze. Harrow's expression went dark. He moved to the window, peered out, cursed viciously. What is it? One of his tactical deputies asked. FBI, at least a dozen agents. Full tactical gear. Jackson felt hope surge. Webb had gotten through. The cavalry had arrived. But Harrow was already moving, calculating. He grabbed Elena, yanked her up, despite her scream of pain, and put his gun to her head. Everyone stays calm. We're walking out of here together, and the FBI is going to let us pass. Or Deputy Reeves dies right here. You'll never make it, Jackson said. I've made it this far. I'm not about to let some federal bureaucrats end my operation. Harrow started backing toward the door, Elena stumbling in his grip. My men outside will provide cover. We'll be gone before they breach the perimeter. One of the tactical deputies spoke up, uncertainty in his voice. Sheriff, if the FBI is here, maybe we should... Should what Rogers surrender go to prison? I don't think so. Sir, I signed up to be a cop, not a... Harrow shot him. The deputy dropped and grabbing his legs, screaming. The other three tactical deputies stared at each other, then at Harrow, horror dawning on their faces. Anyone else having second thoughts? Harrow asked. The remaining three deputies slowly lowered their weapons. We're not doing this, one of them said. This is over, Harrow. You're throwing away your careers. Better than throwing away our souls. Harrow's face twisted with fury. He tightened his grip on Elena, started to pull the trigger. Jackson moved. He'd been waiting for the moment. Harrow's attention split, and this was it. He lunged across the cabin, grabbed Harrow's gun arm, twisted hard. The weapon discharged into the ceiling. Wood splinters rained down. Elena dropped, rolled away despite her wounds. Reaper and Snake were already moving, disarming the shocked tactical deputies who weren't even resisting anymore. Harrow fought like a man with nothing to lose, stronger than he looked, trained. He got an elbow into Jackson's ribs, spun, tried to bring the gun around. Jackson grabbed his wrist, slammed it against the doorframe. The gun clattered free. I'll burn your club to the ground, Harrow snarled. I'll destroy everyone You're not burning anything ever again. Jackson got him in a chokehold, squeezed. Harrow thrashed, trying to break free, gasping for air. His movements got weaker, more desperate. Jackson, don't kill him. Elena's voice cut through the rage. Don't let him make you a killer. Jackson held on for another few seconds, feeling Harrow go limp, then released him. The sheriff collapsed to the floor, unconscious, but breathing. Outside, the bullhorn sounded again. This is Special Agent Victoria Hayes, FBI. We have the building surrounded. Send out your weapons and come out with your hands up. Elena attempted to stand, couldn't. Jackson went to her, helped her up. We need to get you out there, get you medical attention. Wait, she grabbed his vest. Webb, is he really safe? Or was Harrow telling the truth about capturing him? Only one way to find out. Reaper had already zip-tied the conscious tactical deputies. Snake was helping the one Harrow shot, applying pressure to the leg wound. Tiny stood guard over Harrow's unconscious body. What do we do with him? Tiny asked. We give him to the FBI, Jackson said. Let justice work the way it's supposed to. Jackson called out toward the door. Hayes, this is Jackson Mercer. We have Sheriff Harrow in custody along with 4 tactical deputies and 1 deceased deputy. We're coming out. A pause, then, copy that. Send out your weapons first, then come out one at a time, hands visible. Deputy Reeves needs immediate medical attention. He did it by the book. Guns slid out the door. Then the tactical deputies, hands on heads. Then Harrow, still unconscious, carried by Reaper and Snake. Then Tiny. Jackson helped Elena to the door. She was barely conscious now, the adrenaline wearing off her body, finally giving up. "Stay with me," he said, trying, so tired. "I know, but you're almost there. Almost safe." They stepped out into the dawn light. FBI agents swarmed the area, tactical gear, weapons trained, but they weren't shooting. They were securing the scene, professional and controlled. Special Agent Victoria Hayes stepped forward. Tall, sharp-featured, wearing a windbreaker with FBI in yellow letters. She examined Elena, then Jackson, her expression unreadable. "Deputy Reeves, Mr. Mercer, you've had quite a night." "Is Webb safe?" Elena asked, her voice barely a whisper. Hayes nodded. "Detective Webb delivered the flash drive to our Phoenix office 90 minutes ago. We've been mobilizing ever since. He's fine, but he was very worried about you." Relief washed over Elena's face. She sagged against Jackson. "Medical," Hayes called out. "Get a trauma team over here now." Paramedics rushed forward with a gurney. They took Elena from Jackson's arms, started working immediately. IVs, oxygen vitals check. Jackson stood there, his vest still covered in her blood, watching them load her into an ambulance. Hayes approached him. "You did good work here, Mr. Mercer. I broke about 40 laws doing it. You saved a federal witness and helped expose the most corrupt law enforcement operation in Arizona's history. That counts for something." "Am I under arrest?" "That depends. Are you going to Waukio?" "No." "Then no, you're not under arrest, but we'll need your full cooperation. Statements, testimony, everything." "You'll get it." Hayes studied him for a moment. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect? An outlaw? A criminal? Someone looking for an angle? And what do you see? Someone who made a hard choice and stuck with it. That's rare." One of the FBI agents approached, spoke quietly to Hayes. She listened, her expression darkening. "What is it?" Jackson asked. "We've got a problem. Captain Morrison from Red Ridge PD just held a press conference. He's calling this a hostage situation gone wrong. Says you and your club members kidnapped Deputy Reeves and killed Deputy Brad Lewis. He's demanding jurisdiction over the case. Morrison's dirty. Elena's note said he's been on Harrow's payroll for 6 years. I know, we've got the evidence, but he doesn't know we know, and he's using his position to muddy the waters. This is about to get very public very fast." A call came in. "Hammer," he answered. "Grave, what the hell is happening? I'm watching the news. They're saying you murdered a cop and FBI has you surrounded." "It's not true. Harrow killed his own deputy. FBI knows the truth. The whole county thinks you're a cop killer. The club is getting death threats. Someone firebombed our clubhouse 20 minutes ago." "What?" "It's chaos, brother. Whatever you did, it's blowing back on all of us. Hammer Harrow's operation is falling apart. The FBI has evidence. This will clear up." "Not fast enough. The damage is done. Half the club wants to disown you. The other half wants to go to war with the sheriff's department. Don't. That's exactly what Morrison wants. He needs violence to justify a crackdown." "Then what do we do?" Jackson glanced at Agent Hayes, who was listening to the conversation. "We go public. All the way public. We tell the truth before Morrison can bury it." Hayes nodded slowly. "The FBI doesn't usually operate that way. We build cases quietly." "You don't have time for quiet. Morrison's already controlling the narrative. You need to break it now. If we go public before we have arrested everyone involved, some of them will run. Then arrest them now. You've got the evidence. You've got Harrow in custody. Move fast." Hayes considered that. Then she made a decision. "Get Deputy Reeves stabilized. Then we're going to the media together. We tell the real story." An FBI agent ran up out of breath. Agent Hayes, we have a situation. Captain Morrison just declared martial law in Red Ridge County. He's calling up reserves, setting up roadblocks, claiming it's necessary to stop a biker gang uprising. He can't do that without state approval, Hayes said. He got it. Governor's office signed off an hour ago. Morrison convinced them this was a domestic terrorism situation. Jackson felt everything spiraling. He's locking down the county, making sure nobody can get in or out to contradict his story. Worse than that, the agent pulled up something on his tablet, showed them. He's issued arrest warrants for everyone in your motorcycle club, armed and dangerous. Shoot on sight authorization. Hammer's voice came through the call. Panicked, Grave State Police just surrounded our clubhouse. They're saying we have 10 minutes to surrender or they're coming in. Hammer, surrender. Don't fight them. Half our brothers are armed. They're not going down without a fight. Tell them to stand down. It's what Morrison wants. He wants a bloodbath he can blame on us. There was shouting in the background, engines, revving voices, yelling over each other. Hammer, Jackson shouted. Tell them to put their guns down. The line went dead. Jackson turned to Hayes. You need to stop this right now. Call the state police. Call the governor. Call whoever you have to call, but you need to stop them from raiding that clubhouse. Hayes was already on her radio barking orders. This is Special Agent Hayes. Patch me through to State Police Command. We have a federal case that supersedes local jurisdiction. I need all units to stand down immediately. But even as she said it, Jackson could see the doubt in her eyes. Federal authority was one thing. Boots on the ground were another. By the time the orders filtered through the chain of command, people would be dead. Another call came in, different number. He answered. Mr. Mercer, this is Captain Morrison. I think it's time we had a conversation. I've got nothing to say to you, but not even if it means saving your brother's lives. I'm at the clubhouse right now. I can call off the raid. All you have to do is come and surrender yourself, tell your story in court like a civilized person. Your boss is in FBI custody. Your whole operation is falling apart. My boss, I don't know what you're talking about. Sheriff Harrow was a good man who got caught in a bad situation. As for his arrest, well, I'm sure the FBI will realize their mistake soon enough. They have a habit of overreaching. The evidence will be examined thoroughly, Morrison continued. In the meantime, I have a county to protect. And right now, the biggest threat to public safety is your motorcycle club. So I'll ask you again, surrender yourself, and I'll call off the raid. Jackson observed the FBI agents surrounding him at Agent Hayes, trying desperately to get through to State Police Command at the ambulance where Elena was being treated. If I surrender, you'll bury everything. Make it all disappear. I'll do what's best for this county, which is restoring order, by covering up the truth, by protecting good people from false accusations made by criminals. Morrison's voice hardened. You have 5 minutes, Mr. Mercer. After that, we breach the clubhouse, and I can't guarantee everyone inside survives. The line went dead. Hayes grabbed Jackson's arm. Don't even think about it. Morrison will kill you the second you're in his custody. He'll kill my brothers if I don't. We'll get through to state police. We'll stop the raid. Will you before shots are fired, before someone dies? Hayes didn't answer, and that told Jackson everything. Elena called out from the ambulance, weak but insistent. Jackson, don't let them win. He walked over to her, knelt beside the gurney. I don't know another way. There's always another way. You taught me that. You could have left me on the highway, could have saved yourself, but you didn't. You found the hard right answer. She grabbed his hand, her grip stronger than it should be. Morrison wants you to think you have no choice. That's how men like him win. They make you believe surrender is the only option. But it's not. You fight. You trust that the truth comes out. You trust that Agent Hayes does her job. You trust that we beat them the right way. And if we don't, if my brothers die while we're trusting the process, then we live knowing we tried, but we don't hand them the victory. We don't let them make us criminals to justify their crimes. Jackson observed her. This young deputy who'd been shot 3 times, left for dead, and was still fighting for what was right. How are you this strong? I'm not. I'm terrified. I'm in pain. I wanted to close my eyes and make it all stop. But I can't. Because if I do, Harrow wins, Morrison wins, every dirty cop who thinks they're above the law wins. So I stay awake. I stay fighting. And I trust that you do the same. Agent Hayes called out, I've got State Police Command. They're ordering units to hold position. No breach without federal clearance. Relief flooded through Jackson. How long will that hold? Long enough. We're bringing in our own tactical team. We'll secure the clubhouse process, everyone, through federal custody. Morrison can complain all he wants, but we've got jurisdiction now. Another call came through, Morrison. He answered on speaker so Hayes could hear. Your time's up, Mr. Mercer. FBI's taking over. You've got no authority here. We'll see about that. Morrison's voice was venomous. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. You think one flash drive is enough. You think the FBI can touch me. I've got judges, prosecutors, state senators in my pocket. This case will be tied up in courts for years. And in the meantime, accidents happen. Witnesses disappear. Evidence gets lost. You've won a battle, Mr. Mercer, but the war is just beginning. The line went dead. Jackson regarded Hayes. He's right, isn't he? About the courts, the delays, all of it. Maybe, but he's wrong about one thing. And what's that? This isn't just about courts anymore. You brought this fight into the light. The whole county is watching, the whole state. That changes everything. One of the paramedics spoke up. Agent Hayes, we need to transport Deputy Reeves now. She's stabilizing, but she needs surgery. Go, I'll send an escort. They loaded Elena into the ambulance. She peered at Jackson one more time. Thank you for stopping, for trusting me. The ambulance doors closed, sirens wailing as it pulled away. Hayes turned to Jackson. We need your statement. Everything from the moment you found Deputy Reeves until now. Every detail. You'll get it, but first I need to check on my brothers. FBI team is already en route to secure the clubhouse. You can't. I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you I'm going. You can come with me or arrest me, but either way I'm going. Hayes studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Fine, but you ride with me, and you follow my orders when we get there. Deal. They climbed into an FBI SUV, Hayes driving 2 other agents in the back. The sun was fully up now, burning off the desert cold, painting everything in sharp relief. A text came through from an unknown number, press conference at County Courthouse in 2 hours. Morrison is going to spin everything. You need to be there. Tell your story first. Webb, he showed it to Hayes. She smiled, grim but determined. Then that's where we'll be. The FBI SUV tore through Red Ridge County at 80 miles per hour, lights flashing, but no sirens. Hayes drove with precision, weaving through early morning traffic, while Jackson watched the county he'd called home for 20 years pass by like foreign territory. Everything appeared different now. Every sheriff's cruiser was a potential threat. Every deputy, a question mark. Messages kept flooding in. News alerts, messages from brothers reporters somehow getting his number. He ignored them all except one. Snake Feds got us surrounded but standing down. Morrison's people trying to push through. It's getting ugly. Jackson typed back. On my way. Don't engage. Let FBI handle it. Snake Dutch is losing it. Says we shouldn't trust anyone in a badge. Jackson glanced at Hayes, who was monitoring police radio chatter. Her jaw tight. How bad is it at the clubhouse? He asked. Bad. State police want to breach. FBI says no. Morrison's people are trying to override federal authority. It's a jurisdictional nightmare. She glanced at him. Your brother Dutch, he's got priors for assault on law enforcement. 10 years ago, Different life. Morrison's using it as justification. Says Dutch is a violent threat, demands immediate action. Dutch wouldn't hurt anyone unless they came in shooting first. I believe you, but Morrison's feeding the media a different story. He's got press vans positioned a block away, ready to film a raid. He wants his Waco moment. Jackson's stomach churned. Waco. Ruby Ridge. Every standoff that ended in blood because someone wanted to make an example. Don't let him have it. I'm trying, but I've got brass in Washington asking why we're protecting a motorcycle gang. I've got the state governor's office demanding answers. Morrison's playing this perfectly. He's had practice. How many operations you think he's covered up for Harrow over the years? Based on the flash drive, dozens, maybe hundreds, planted evidence, false arrests, asset seizures that enriched Harrow's operation. Morrison was his fixer, made problems disappear. And now we're the problem. Now you're the solution. That's what Morrison can't handle. You were supposed to be the scapegoat. Instead, you're the witness. They turned onto Commerce Street 3 blocks from the clubhouse. Roadblock ahead, state police in riot gear. Hayes slowed, showed her credentials. The officer in charge leaned down, examining Jackson. That's Jackson Mercer. He's wanted for... He's a federal witness under protective custody. Hayes cut him off. And you're going to let us through. Ma'am, I have orders from Captain Morrison. I don't care about Morrison's orders. This is a federal case. Move the barrier or I'll have your badge. The officer hesitated, then waved them through. The clubhouse came into view. Reaper's Roadhouse, the sign said, though everyone just called it the clubhouse. 2-story brick building, reinforced doors, cameras everywhere. Surrounded now by FBI tactical vehicles on one side, state police cruisers on the other, and a cluster of sheriff's department SUVs trying to push their way into the perimeter. Hayes parked, got out. Immediately, a state police captain approached angry. Agent Hayes, this is unacceptable. We've got credible intelligence that weapons are being stockpiled inside. We need to secure, based on what intelligence Morrison's word, the same Morrison whose boss just got arrested for running a cartel protection racket. Sheriff Harrow's arrest is under review until charges are filed. Charges will be filed within the hour, and when they throw, every case Morrison touched becomes suspect, including whatever intelligence he fed you about this clubhouse. A voice cut through the tension. Agent Hayes, good to see you again. Captain Morrison stepped out of a sheriff's SUV looking calm and collected despite the chaos. He wore his uniform like armor, every crease, perfect badge, polished to a mere shine. He regarded Jackson, smiled. Mr. Mercer, I'm surprised to see you here. I thought you'd be halfway to Mexico by now. I don't run from the truth. How noble. Of course, the truth is that you kidnapped a deputy, interfered with a murder investigation, and are currently harboring fugitives. But I'm sure Agent Hayes has convinced you otherwise. Hayes stepped between them. Morrison, you're done. We have everything. Financial records, wire recordings of testimony from multiple sources. Harrow's talking, and he's naming names, including yours. Morrison's smile didn't waver. Sheriff Harrow is a traumatized man who's been through a terrible ordeal. Whatever he's saying in custody is unreliable at best, coerced at worst. I'm confident once he's properly represented, he confessed on tape, listed every payoff, every planted evidence case, every deal with the Sinaloa cartel. He gave you up in the first 5 minutes. The smile cracked, just slightly. Then he's lying to save himself. He had documentation, offshore accounts in your name, wire transfers, meeting recordings. Hayes pulled out her cell, played an audio file. Harrow's voice came through clear and damning. Morrison handles the legal side, makes sure cases get dismissed. Witnesses disappear, evidence gets lost. He's been doing it for 6 years. Without him, the whole operation falls apart. Morrison's face went pale, then flushed red. That's taken out of context. There are 20 hours of recordings, all in context, all admissible. You're done. Morrison scanned the area, calculating, state police watching, FBI watching. News cameras set up a block away, probably getting zoom shots. His empire collapsing in real time. I want my lawyer. Smart move, you're going to need a good one. Hayes gestured to two FBI agents. Captain Morrison, you're under arrest for racketeering, corruption, conspiracy to commit murder, and about 40 other charges we're still cataloging. Morrison put his hands out for cuffs, still trying to maintain dignity. This is a mistake, a massive mistake. You're destroying good men's careers based on the word of criminals. We're destroying a criminal enterprise based on evidence. Hayes nodded to her agents. Take him. As they led Morrison away, his composure finally broke. He peered back at Jackson, hatred burning in his eyes. This isn't over. You think you've won. You've got no idea what you've started. There are people above Harrow, above me. People you can't touch. They're going to come for you, for everyone you love. You should have taken my offer when you had the chance. I've got a better offer, Jackson said. I'll testify. I'll tell everything. And you and everyone like you go to prison where you belong. Morrison laughed bitter and harsh. You think prison scares men like us. We run half the prisons in this state. You just signed your own death warrant. The FBI agents pulled him toward their vehicle. He kept shouting, "You're dead, Mercer! All of you, every patch-wearing piece of air!" The car door slammed, cutting him off. Hayes turned to the state police captain. Your orders came from Morrison. He's no longer in command. I'm assuming authority over this scene. Pull your men back. The captain appeared uncertain. I need to verify with the governor's office. Do it, but do it from outside the perimeter. FBI has jurisdiction now. Slowly, reluctantly, the state police began withdrawing. Some appeared relieved, others angry, all of them confused. Jackson walked toward the clubhouse door. Hayes grabbed his arm. Wait, let me send a team in first. Make sure it's secure. It's my club, my brothers. I'm going in. Then I'm going with you. They approached together. Jackson knocked the old pattern. 3 quick, 2, slow 1 quick. The door opened a crack. Dutch's face appeared bruised and angry. Grave, you brought feds. I brought allies. Let us in. Dutch observed Hayes' distrust all over his face. She's FBI. She's the reason Morrison's in handcuffs right now. Instead of raiding this place with tear gas. That got Dutch's attention. Morrison's arrested 5 minutes ago. Dutch opened the door wider. Inside the clubhouse was chaos. Brothers armed and positioned at windows. Hammer in the center, appearing 10 years older than yesterday, trying to keep everyone calm. Hammer saw Jackson and relief washed over his face. Then he saw Hayes and the relief turned to weariness. Grave, what's going on? It's over, Hammer. Harrow's in custody. Morrison just got arrested. The FBI has everything. We're clear. Clear, we've got state police surrounding us. News calling us terrorists. Morrison saying we're running a criminal enterprise. Morrison's a liar and a criminal. The FBI knows that now. Hammer regarded Hayes. You expect me to believe that feds have been trying to take us down for years? Not this Fed, Hayes said. 2 years ago, I investigated your club for racketeering. You remember him? I remember. You didn't find anything. Because there wasn't anything to find. You run a motorcycle club, not a criminal organization. I wrote that in my report. My supervisors didn't like it. Wanted me to manufacture evidence. I refused. That's why I believe Jackson when he says you're clean. Hammer processed that. And now I need you to trust me. There's a press conference in 90 minutes. Morrison was going to use it to paint you as domestic terrorists. Instead, we're going to use it to expose him and Harrow. But I need everyone here to stand down, surrender weapons for processing, and cooperate fully. You're asking us to disarm in our own clubhouse while cops surround us. I'm asking you to trust the system one more time. I know that's hard. I know you've been burned before, but this is different. Dutch spoke up from the doorway. How is it different? Every time we trust cops, we get raided. Every time we cooperate, evidence gets planted. You're asking us to put ourselves at their mercy. I'm asking you to put yourself at my mercy, Hayes said, and I'm promising you on my badge and my career that I will protect you. No planted evidence, no false charges, no raids. You'll be processed, interviewed, and released. By tomorrow, you'll be exonerated publicly. Tomorrow's a long time when you're in a cell, Snake said from a corner. Jackson stepped forward. She kept me alive, protected Elena, arrested Morrison and Harrow. She's earned our trust. You're not thinking clearly, Grave, Hammer said. Elena got shot. You're running on no sleep. You're making decisions based on emotion. I'm making decisions based on what's right, and what's right is exposing these corrupt cops before they bury us all. Hammer scanned the room at his brothers, at the weapons, at the standoff playing out. He appeared tired, so tired. If we do this and it goes wrong, it won't, Hayes said. But if it does, if I'm setting you up, then I lose everything too. My career, my reputation, my integrity. We're in this together now. Hammer was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. All right, stand down. Everybody put your weapons on the table. Slowly. No sudden moves. One by one, the brothers complied. Pistols, shotguns, even a couple of rifles, all placed on the main table in the center of the room. Hayes radioed her team. We're coming out. Suspects are cooperating. No force necessary. They filed out of the clubhouse, hands visible, moving slow. FBI agents secured each one, patted them down, zip-tied their hands. Professional, but not rough. A news van had gotten closer, camera rolling. Jackson could see the reporter talking urgently into her microphone, probably describing the surrender of a dangerous biker gang. Morrison's narrative was already spreading. They had 90 minutes to kill it. Hayes loaded Jackson into her SUV, left her team to process the clubhouse. She checked her watch. County courthouse is 15 minutes away. We need to get you cleaned up. Rehearse what you're going to say. I'm going to tell the truth. Don't need to rehearse that. The truth needs to be strategic. Morrison's lawyers are probably already drafting their response. Everything you say will be picked apart, analyzed, used against you. Let them try. Hayes pulled out her cell, made a call. Webb, where are you? Detective Webb's voice came through strained. Hospital with Elena. She just got out of surgery. It went well, but she's not conscious yet. Is she going to make it? Doctors say yes. Barring complications, full recovery expected. Jackson felt relief wash over him. Elena was alive, was going to stay alive. We need her testimony at the press conference, Hayes said. Not happening. She's intubated, won't be awake for hours. Even then, she's too weak. Then we go without her. Jackson's testimony will have to be enough. It won't be, Webb said. Not against Morrison's machine. He's got judges, lawyers, PR firms. He'll spin this as FBI overreach, biased investigation, unreliable witness. You need more. What do you suggest? I've got the flash drive. Let me bring it to the courthouse. We'll play the recordings. Harrow's voice, Morrison's voice. Actual evidence that can't be spun. That's supposed to be under federal seal. So arrest me after. But right now we need to win the public. And nothing wins like hearing criminals confess in their own words. Hayes thought about that. Do it. But Webb, if this backfires, it won't. Trust me. The line went dead. Jackson peered at Hayes. He's risking his career. So am I. So are you. That's what it takes sometimes. They drove in silence for a few minutes. Then another call came in. Unknown number. He answered cautiously. Yeah. Mr. Mercer, this is Rachel Solis, Channel 7 News. I'm covering the story about Sheriff Harrow's arrest in the standoff at your clubhouse. I'd like to interview you before the press conference. How'd you get this number? I have sources. Will you talk to me? What do you want to know? Everything, the truth. I've been investigating Harrow for 2 years, but could never get enough evidence to publish. If you're willing to go on record, I'll make sure your story gets told. I'll go on record at the press conference. Everyone can hear it at once. That's Morrison's press conference. He'll control the room, the questions, the narrative. You need your own platform. Come to my station. We'll do a live interview, stream it online. Get your story out before Morrison can bury it. Jackson observed Hayes, who was listening. She shook her head. Thanks for the offer, Jackson said, but I'm doing this the right way. Public, official, on the record. The right way gets you killed, Mr. Mercer. Morrison has people everywhere. You walk into that courthouse, you might not walk out. Then I don't walk out, but I'm not hiding. He hung up. Hayes regarded him. She's not wrong about the danger. Morrison's people could be anywhere. Bailiffs, security, even other reporters. All it takes is one shot, one accident. You think I should run? I think you should be smart. Let us build the case, testify in closed session, keep you protected until trial. And let Morrison control the story for months while lawyers fight numb. This ends now, today, in public. They pulled up to the courthouse. Media vans everywhere. Reporters setting up, cameras being positioned. This was going to be broadcast across the state, maybe nationally. Hayes parked in a secure area, escorted Jackson through a side entrance. Inside, Federal Marshal stood guard. She'd thought of everything. They went to a conference room. Webb was already there, appearing exhausted but determined. He had a laptop set up, the flash drive inserted. It's all here, Webb said. Every transaction, every recording, every piece of evidence Elena and I gathered. Harrow's confession from FBI custody. Morrison's voice on wiretaps. 6 years of corruption documented. How much can we use without compromising the case, Hayes asked. All of it. I cleared it with the U.S. Attorney's Office. They want this public. They're tired of cases getting buried. Jackson examined the screen, saw file after file of evidence, financial records showing millions in bribes, audio files of Harrow coordinating with cartel representatives, photos of Morrison meeting with known criminals. This destroys them, Jackson said. Webb nodded. But we have to present it right. Morrison's going to claim it's fabricated, that we're framing him. We need to be bulletproof. A federal marshal knocked entered. Agent Hayes' press conference starts in 30 minutes. Morrison's lawyers are already there filing motions demanding the right to respond. Let them file. This isn't a courtroom. This is transparency. Hayes turned to Jackson. You ready? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Good answer. They walked through the courthouse halls. Jackson could hear the crowd gathering outside. Reporters shouting questions, protesters on both sides, some supporting the sheriff's department, some demanding justice for Elena. The press room was packed. Every seat filled cameras, everywhere microphones clustered on the podium. Morrison's legal team sat in the front row, 3 lawyers in expensive suits, ready to object to everything. Jackson walked to the podium. The room went silent. He peered out at the faces, some hostile, some curious, some hopeful. He opened his mouth to speak, and the lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in. Dim and red, someone screamed. People started moving, pushing toward exits. Hayes grabbed Jackson, pulled him away from the podium. Lockdown, now! Federal marshals swarmed and weapons drawn. But in the chaos, Jackson saw something that made his blood freeze. One of Morrison's lawyers was smiling. This wasn't an accident. This was planned. The emergency lighting cast everything in blood-red shadows. Hayes had Jackson against the wall, federal marshals forming a protective barrier, while the press room descended into pandemonium. Reporters scrambling cameras knocked over someone shouting about a bomb threat, but Jackson kept watching Morrison's lawyer. The smile, the calm, the way he was texting on his device while everyone else panicked. Hayes, Jackson said, That lawyer. Check him. She followed his gaze, saw what he saw. Her hand went to her weapon. Marshal Davis, secure that man. Now. Two marshals moved toward the lawyer who peered up from his device with practiced innocence. Is there a problem, Agent? Hands where I can see them. The lawyer complied, still smiling. I'm just texting my office about the power outage. Surely that's not a crime. Hayes grabbed his device, examined the screen. Her face went hard. Package delivered. Exit through loading dock. Vehicle waiting. Who'd you send that to? Hayes demanded. My paralegal. About case file. You're lying. Hayes showed the device to a marshal. Track this number. Now. The marshal took the device, started working. 30 seconds later, his face went pale. It's connected to a cell tower 3 blocks from here, but the recipient device just went dark. Burner. Probably ditched already. Jackson's mind raced. Package delivered. Someone just got into the courthouse. Someone who wasn't supposed to be here. Webb, Jackson said. Where's Webb? Hayes spun, scanning for the detective. He wasn't in the room. She keyed her radio. All units locate Detective Marcus Webb immediately. Consider him potentially compromised. I'm right here. Webb's voice came from the doorway. He stepped into the red emergency lighting, carrying the laptop with the flash drive. I was getting backup files from my car. What's going on? Someone's inside the courthouse, Hayes said. Morrison's people sent a signal right before the blackout. Webb's expression shifted from confusion to alarm. They're going for the evidence, the flash drive. Or they're going for Jackson, Hayes said. As if on cue, gunfire erupted somewhere in the building. 2 shots, then 3 more. Close. Too close. The press room erupted again. People diving for cover, screaming. Federal marshals drew weapons, formed a tighter perimeter around Jackson. Hayes grabbed a radio. Shots fired. Courthouse level 2. All units respond. Lock down all exits. Nobody in or out. More gunfire. Closer now. Someone was fighting their way toward them. Webb moved to Jackson's side, handed him the laptop. Whatever happens, this evidence gets out. You understand? Even if I go down, even if Hayes goes down, you make sure the truth comes out. Nobody's going down, Jackson said, but his hand closed on the laptop anyway. A marshal's radio crackled. We've got an active shooter in the East Wing. Single suspect male, heavily armed. He's taken out 2 security officers and is heading toward the press room. Description, Hayes demanded. Late 30s, wearing maintenance uniform, carrying an AR-15. Wait. The transmission broke up, then came back garbled. Not maintenance. He's gunfire through the radio, then silence. Marshal down, someone shouted through another channel. Repeat, Marshal down, East Corridor. The door to the press room slammed open. Everyone turned, weapons raised. But it wasn't the shooter. It was Elena. She stumbled through the doorway, still in a hospital gown, IV port taped to her arm, face sheet white with pain and exhaustion. A nurse was supporting her on one side, trying to get her to stop. Elena, you can't be here. You just had surgery. Where is he? Elena's voice was weak but determined. She spotted Jackson, started toward him. Where's Jackson? Elena, get down, Hayes shouted. We have an active shooter. I know, I heard it on the hospital scanner. That's why I'm here. Elena made it to Jackson, grabbed his arm for support. You can't do this alone. You need me. You need my testimony. You can barely stand. I can stand long enough to tell the truth. She peered at Hayes. Get me to that podium. Get the cameras rolling. Let's end this. The power's out. The building's compromised. Then we go outside. We use cell devices, live stream it, whatever it takes, but we do it now. Before Morrison's people kill us all. More gunfire echoed through the halls. Closer. A federal marshal burst in. Agent Hayes, we've identified the shooter. Former military, dishonorably discharged known associate of the Sinaloa cartel. We think he's here to eliminate witnesses. Cartel, Jackson said. Harrow's partners. They must have sent him the second they heard about the arrests, Webb said. Can't let the evidence go public. Can't let us testify. Elena swayed, almost fell. The nurse caught her. You need to lie down, the nurse pleaded. Your stitches are going to tear. Let them tear. This is more important. Hayes made a decision. We evacuate. Secure route to the south exit. Armored vehicle waiting. We get Jackson and Elena out of here, regroup somewhere safe, hold the press conference remotely. No. Elena's voice cut through the chaos, surprisingly strong. We run Morrison wins. His lawyers claim we fabricated everything, that we're hiding because we have no real evidence. The story becomes about FBI overreach and biker gangs, not about corruption. Better that than you dying in a courthouse. I already died once this week. It didn't stick. Elena regarded Jackson. You stopped for me on that highway. You could have kept riding, should have kept riding, but you didn't. Because it was right. Because someone had to stand up. That was different. It's the exact same. Right now in this moment, we can run or we can fight. We can let them silence us, or we can speak so loud they can't. Jackson observed her. This wounded deputy who'd been shot 3 times, survived her own execution, dragged herself out of a hospital bed to be here. She was right. Running wasn't the answer. Truth was. He turned to Hayes. The press is still outside, right? Cameras, live streams, everything. Most of them evacuated when the shooting started. But not all of them, Webb said, checking his device. Rachel Solis from Channel 7 is still broadcasting. She's got a live stream going. 10,000 viewers and climbing. Get her in here, Jackson said. We do the press conference right here, right now, while the evidence is fresh and Morrison's people are scrambling. Hayes appeared like she wanted to argue, but she saw the determination in their faces. All of them. Jackson, Elena, Webb. People who'd already risked everything. Fine, but we do it smart. Marshals secure this room. No one in or out except the reporter. We barricade the doors, post shooters at every entry point. The second that cartel gunman gets close, we evacuate immediately. Agreed, Jackson said. 2 marshals went to retrieve Rachel Solis while others started fortifying the room, pushing furniture against doors, checking sight lines, establishing defensive positions. Elena sat down hard, breathing labored. I need painkillers, strong ones. I'm not going to make it through this without them. The nurse who'd followed her from the hospital pulled out a syringe. This is going to make you loopy. I'll take loopy over unconscious. The injection went in. Elena's eyes went glassy for a moment, then sharpened again with chemical clarity. Rachel Solis rushed in, camera operator behind her. She was young, mid-30s, with the kind of intensity that made good journalists. She took one look at the scene and understood immediately. You're giving me the exclusive. We're giving you the truth, Jackson said. What you do with it is up to you. I've been waiting 2 years for this. Rachel positioned herself, gestured to her camera operator. Ready when you are. The camera's red light came on, live. Rachel spoke into the lens, her voice steady, despite the gunfire echoing in the distance. This is Rachel Solis, Channel 7 News, broadcasting live from inside Red Ridge County Courthouse, where an active shooter situation is unfolding. I'm here with Jackson Mercer, the man accused of kidnapping Deputy Elena Reeves, and with Deputy Reeves herself, who I can confirm is very much alive and about to tell us what really happened. She turned the camera to Elena and Jackson. Elena spoke first, her voice shaky but clear. My name is Deputy Elena Catherine Reeves. 2 nights ago, Sheriff Daniel Harrow ordered my execution because I uncovered evidence that he's been running a protection racket for the Sinaloa cartel. His deputies shot me 3 times and left me to die on Highway 19. Rachel's eyes went wide, but she kept the camera steady. Jackson Mercer found me dying in my cruiser. He didn't have to stop. He's a member of a motorcycle club that Harrow has persecuted for years. But he stopped anyway. He saved my life. He protected me while I was hunted, and he helped me get evidence of Harrow's crimes to the FBI. Jackson took over. Sheriff Harrow has been using his badge to run a criminal enterprise. He's been planting evidence, making false arrests, seizing assets to enrich himself and his partners. Captain Morrison covered it all up. They tried to frame me for Elena's abduction to distract from their own crimes. Webb stepped into frame, held up the flash drive. This contains 6 years of documented corruption. Bank records, wire recordings, testimony from multiple sources. It's all here. Every crime, every payoff, every lie. Rachel's camera operator zoomed in on the flash drive, getting the shot. "We're going to play some of these recordings now," Webb said. He opened the laptop, pulled up an audio file. Harrow's voice filled the room, clear and damning. "Morrison, we've got a problem. Deputy Reeves has been asking questions about the Ramirez seizure, the one where we took $200,000 in cash and only reported 50. Morrison's voice responded, "I'll handle it. Plant some personal items in her locker. Make it look like she's skimming. Transfer her to night patrol in remote sectors. And if that doesn't shut her up, then we make her disappear." Wouldn't be the first time. The recording continued, detailing plans to eliminate Elena, to plant evidence, to coordinate with cartel representatives. 5 minutes of pure, unfiltered corruption. Rachel's face had gone pale, but she kept broadcasting. More recordings played. Harrow bragging about planted evidence. Morrison laughing about falsifying reports. Both of them discussing how to use motorcycle clubs as scapegoats for their own operations. The live stream viewer count was climbing. 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. People were watching. The truth was getting out. Morrison's lawyer in the front row stood up shouting, "This is illegal. These recordings were obtained without warrants. They're inadmissible. They were obtained with federal wiretaps authorized by a federal judge." Hayes cut him off. "They're completely admissible and completely damning. Your clients are done." The lawyer's face went red. "I'm calling for an immediate injunction. Call whoever you want. The evidence is already public. 50,000 people just heard it. You can't unring that bell." Gunfire erupted right outside the press room door. Close. So close the door shook. Federal marshals took positions, weapons trained on the entrance. "Keep recording," Elena said to Rachel. "Whatever happens, keep recording." The door splintered. Someone was shooting through it, trying to breach. Marshals returned fire through the door, deafening in the enclosed space. The wood exploded inward. The shooter burst through military precision, dead eyes, AR-15 raised. Before he could fire, Dutch tackled him from the side hallway where he'd been positioned with other marshals. They crashed into the wall. The rifle clattered free. Reaper and Snake were on him in seconds, pinning him down, while marshals moved in with restraints. "Suspect secure," a marshal called. The shooter spat blood, smiled. "More coming. Cartel doesn't forget." "Neither do we," Jackson said. The marshals hauled him away. The live stream count hit 100,000 viewers. Rachel turned back to the camera. "We've just witnessed an attempted assassination in the Red Ridge County Courthouse. Federal marshals and civilians have neutralized the threat, and the evidence against Sheriff Harrow and Captain Morrison continues to mount." She gestured to Jackson. "Mr. Mercer, you risked everything to expose this corruption." Why? Jackson thought about that. About the choice on Highway 19. About Elena's blood on his vest. About every moment that led to this one. Because someone had to. Because the badge is supposed to mean something. Protection. Justice. Truth. And when the people wearing it betray that when they use it as cover for crime, someone has to stand up. Even if it's an outlaw. Maybe especially if it's an outlaw. Do you consider yourself a hero? No. I'm just someone who made a choice. The right choice for once. Elena reached out, took his hand. "He's a hero whether he admits it or not. He saved my life. He protected the evidence. He stood up when it would have been easier to walk away. That's what heroes do. The live stream count kept climbing. 200,000, 300,000. The story was spreading across the state, across the country. Morrison's lawyer was on his device arguing desperately with someone, probably his firm, probably telling them to distance themselves from this disaster. Hayes's device rang. She answered, listened, and a slow smile spread across her face. That was the U.S. attorney. Based on the evidence and public response, they're filing federal charges immediately. Harrow Morrison and 12 co-conspirators. No bail, no delays. They want to move fast before anyone else tries to interfere. What about us? Hammer asked from where the brothers had been brought in under martial escort. The club. You're clear. All charges dropped. Federal investigation confirms you had no involvement in any criminal enterprise. Harrow was using you as scapegoats. Relief washed through the room. Jackson's brothers peered at each other, disbelief turning to hope. We're really clear, Dutch asked. No raids, no charges, nothing. You're victims in this. Harrow destroyed your reputations, framed you for crimes you didn't commit, used you to hide his own operations. The FBI is going to make that public. Snake laughed harsh and relieved. So we were right all along. Every raid, every arrest, every time we said we were being set up, you were, Hayes confirmed, and the state is going to compensate you for it. Wrongful prosecution settlements, legal fees, the works. It won't undo the damage, but it's a start. Rachel's camera was still rolling, capturing everything. Deputy Reeves, Rachel said, you nearly died exposing this corruption. What happens now? Elena peered at the camera, her eyes heavy with painkillers, but clear with purpose. Now we rebuild. We restore trust in law enforcement by holding corrupt officers accountable. We show that the badge means something, that justice exists even when it's hard to find. And we remember that sometimes the people we least expect turn out to be the ones who save us. She regarded Jackson when she said it. The live stream count hit 500,000. Webb closed the laptop. I think we've said enough. The evidence speaks for itself now. Hayes nodded. Press conference war is over. Let's get Elena back to the hospital before she collapses. Elena attempted to stand. Her legs gave out. Jackson caught her, held her steady. You did it, he said quietly. You exposed them. You won. We won, she corrected. None of this happens without you. The nurse moved in, started checking Elena's vitals, muttering about torn stitches and reckless behavior. But there was pride in her voice, too. Federal marshals began escorting everyone out. The press room was clearing. But the damage was done. The truth was out. 500,000 people had watched it unfold live. Morrison's lawyer was gone, fled, before anyone could ask him about that text message. But it didn't matter. The recordings proved everything. Outside the courthouse, more cameras waited. News vans from every network. Reporters shouting questions. But now the questions were different. Mr. Mercer, how does it feel to expose the biggest corruption scandal in state history? Agent Hayes, will there be more arrests? Deputy Reeves, are you being hailed as a hero? Hayes held up a hand, silencing them. The FBI will issue a full statement within the hour. Sheriff Harrow and Captain Morrison are in federal custody facing multiple charges. All members of the Red Ridge Motorcycle Club have been cleared of any wrongdoing. Deputy Elena Reeves is recovering from her injuries and will receive full honors for her service. And Mr. Jackson Mercer is being recognized as a material witness whose cooperation was essential to this investigation. They loaded Elena into an ambulance. Before the others could follow, Webb intercepted the team. Wait, Rebecca. Where's Rebecca? Hayes pulled out her device. Rebecca Reeves and Tommy Cross were recovered from Morrison's ranch last night during the FBI raid. They're safely back with Elena's sister Jennifer in Phoenix under federal protection. I personally escorted them this morning. Elena's face crumpled with relief. She's safe, my baby's safe. She's safe. She's been asking for you, wanted to know when mommy's coming home. Soon, Elena whispered. Tell her soon. The ambulance doors closed. Sirens wailed as it pulled away. Jackson turned to find his brother standing there, still processing everything. Hammer spoke first. Grave, I owe you an apology. When this started, I thought you'd lost your mind. Thought you were throwing everything away for a cop. I was. No, you were doing what was right, and you made us better for it. Made the whole club better. We spent years fighting the system, but you showed us how to work with it, how to find the good people inside the corruption and help them win. The good people did the heavy lifting. I just stopped on a highway. You did more than that, Reaper said. You gave us our reputation back, our dignity, proof that we weren't the criminals they said we were. Dutch stepped forward, offered his hand. I was wrong about you, brother. About all of this. You're the best of us. Jackson shook his hand. We're all just trying to do better. Hayes approached, appearing tired but satisfied. Mr. Mercer will need you for depositions, but that can wait a few days. Get some rest. Process everything. You've earned it. What about the cartel? That shooter was just the first. They'll send more. We're already coordinating with DEA and Border Patrol. Harrow's testimony is giving us actionable intelligence on cartel operations across 3 states. This investigation is expanding fast. Good. Hayes hesitated. For what it's worth, you changed my mind about something. I've spent my career seeing bikers as criminals, 1%ers as outlaws. But you showed me that labels don't define people. Choices do. That works both ways. I've spent my life seeing badges as the enemy. But Elena Webb, you showed me that good cops exist. They're just harder to find than bad ones. We're working on changing that ratio. She walked away to coordinate with her team. Jackson stood there in the morning sun, his brothers around him, the courthouse behind him, and the weight of the last 48 hours finally hitting. He'd stopped on a highway. That was all. Just stopped. And that one choice had changed everything. Snake clapped him on the shoulder. Buy you a drink, brother. Make it coffee. I'm too tired for anything stronger. They walked to their bikes. Federal marshals had released them from impound, even given them an escort. The machines gleamed in the sunlight, chrome and steel and freedom. Jackson threw his leg over his. Harley felt the familiar weight, the balance. Home. A text came through. Unknown number. This is Elena. Nurse let me use her device. Thank you for everything. For stopping, for staying, for being exactly who you are. The world needs more people like you. He typed back, the world needs more people like you too. Rest up, deputy. You've got a long recovery ahead. Worth it. Every bullet, every scar. Because the truth won out. That's worth dying for. Good thing you didn't have to. Good thing you stopped. Jackson put his device away, fired up his engine. The Harley roared to life, loud and defiant and free. Hammer pulled up beside him. Where to, brother? Home, wherever that is now. Home is wherever the club is, and the club's still standing, thanks to you. They rode out together, a pack of Harleys escorted by FBI vehicles. An image no one would have believed 48 hours ago. Outlaws and feds side by side, heading towards something better. 6 months later, Jackson sat in a federal courtroom and watched Harrow get sentenced to 45 years. Morrison got 35. 12 other co-conspirators received sentences ranging from 10 to 25 years. Elena was there in full uniform, walking without a cane, now her testimony having been the cornerstone of the prosecution. Outside the courthouse, she found Jackson. How does it feel? She asked. Justice served. Feels incomplete. There's still work to do, still corrupt cops out there, still cartels operating. But we made a dent, a big one, and we proved something important. What's that the system can work? When good people refuse to look away, when they make the hard choice, even when it costs them everything. Jackson observed her, this deputy who'd become a friend, who'd shown him that badges and patches didn't have to be enemies. You going back to work? Already did. They made me a detective. Internal affairs, actually. Cleaning house, investigating other departments, making sure what happened here doesn't happen somewhere else. And Webb, promoted, heading up a new anti-corruption task force. FBI's partnering with him. Hayes is co-leading. The team that could have been enemies instead became allies. Funny how that works. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the news crews pack up, watching Morrison and Harrow being led away in chains. What about you? Elena asked. What's next for Grave? The club's rebuilding. We're working with the community now instead of against it. Charity rides youth programs, showing people that we're not the monsters Harrow painted us as. That's good. That's really good. And I'm testifying for the FBI. They've got cases in 3 other states where sheriffs might be pulling the same scheme Harrow did. Using motorcycle clubs as scapegoats, I'm helping identify the patterns. Elena smiled. So the outlaw became a federal witness. The deputy became a corruption fighter. We both became something better than we were. A call came through, Hammer asking when he'd be back at the clubhouse. There was a vote tonight about new community programs. I have to go, Jackson said. Me too. She pulled him into a hug, brief but genuine. Stay safe out there, Grave. You too, detective. She walked away toward her patrol car badge gleaming in the sun. Jackson headed for his Harley. As he rode through Red Ridge County, he passed the spot where it had all started, Highway 19, the shoulder where Elena's cruiser had been staged. There was a memorial there now, flowers and candles, not for someone who died, but for something that lived. Hope, justice, the idea that one choice, one moment of courage could change everything. Jackson slowed, observed the memorial, then kept riding. Because that's what you did when you made the right choice. You didn't stop to admire it. You kept moving forward, kept choosing right over easy, kept standing up even when it cost you everything. The highway stretched ahead, empty and infinite. And somewhere on it, someone else would face a choice. Between riding on or stopping. Between safety and risk. Between easy and right. Jackson hoped they'd stop. Because sometimes the whole world changes in the moment you decide to care.